Well, welcome, RCS friends, family, parents.
Everyone.
Nicole Turner and Pastor Freddie
How's
here.
it going, everybody?
Thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
Hey, we just wanted to jump on and give a couple of tips on how to keep our students safe online.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today. And so number one tip, Mrs. Turner, is simply this: have a conversation.
Yes.
Have a conversation. You know, when in the Garden of Eden, when God's laying everything out, basically what he says is here's a bunch of stuff that I want you to enjoy, but then there's this one tree that I want you to be careful of. And so even God, when he was laying everything out by design for us, he had a conversation of these things are good and we want you to enjoy them, and these things we want you to be careful of. And so whenever it comes to online, have that conversation. There are parts of technology that are so good and so beneficial to our world, and then there are those parts that it's like, you know what? We have to be careful.
Right.
Mrs. Turner, did your parents have a conversation with you?
Yes. That's the one thing that really kept me grounded. My parents said, look out for this, look out for these things. If you see this, turn it off.
Yeah. And those things are so helpful. Number 2 is this accountability. Ready? It rocks.
Yes.
Accountability rocks, and it's a beautiful
Right.
thing. And I think for each of us, when it comes to accountability, like I remember my parents giving me a phone in the 8th grade. My eyes lit up. I was so excited, but I thought it belonged to me. I thought it was mine. I didn't pay the bill for it, right? I didn't purchase it, but I thought it was mine.
Right.
And when it comes to technology, accountability, it matters. Maybe even tell our students like, hey, I know we have given this for you to use, but this still belongs to us. We have access to the passwords. We're able to look at it at any time that we want. And another way, Mrs. Turner, that accountability rocks is there are ways and different apps that we can use to keep our children safe online. What are some that you've heard of before?
Right. Well, we were talking about this before. We talked about Covenant Eyes.
Yeah. And another app that really works for teenagers and for kids is an app called Bark.
So tell us about what is Covenant Eyes?
Yeah, so Covenant Eyes it's a program that I utilize on all my devices, and I've utilized it since I was in high school. So what it does is I choose an accountability partner. Like for me, I'm 26, and my accountability partner is my dad. So what Covenant Eyes does is it looks at all my browser history, it looks at the things that I'm doing online, the way I'm using my phone, my laptop, and if there are any things that are out of bounds, and there are any things that like, oh man, that's a red flag, that gets sent to my dad as my accountability partner, and we can have a conversation, and it keeps me safe. And it's something that, you know, for each of us, we're not going to be able to completely shield ourselves from bad things or hard things, but we can stay accountable. Bark, think of it like a dog, like bark, 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 that's out of bounds. And so how Bark is utilized is you connect it to your children's Instagram account, their email, or even their messages account. And what it does is anything that is a red flag or any conversation or picture that like, hey, this is something that we want them to be safe from and not be a part of, Bark will actually send you a notification. It'll bark and say, hey, this is going on. It's something that is very, very good. You can connect it like Covenant Eyes. It's one account that covers all devices. Bark is the same way. And, you know, accountability is huge, Mrs. Turner, and this is a beautiful thing. And to finish off, number 3, as we finish this out, it's simply this: research and decide what is safe for your kid. Do you know all the apps that are coming out?
Yeah, well, not all of them, but it's ever changing.
Yes.
But one app we were made aware of, that there's an app our students can download that actually hides other apps.
Yeah.
So it could be an app hider, and it will look like a normal app, like a calculator or a messaging, like something innocent, you know, simple. But it really can be used as something else to hide something that you may not want them to have or see.
Yeah, and I think just being able to research and say, what are the trending apps, you know, like whether it be Real or TikTok. Many times, like Instagram has now made its way where not as many teenagers are using it, and now Be Real and TikTok and these different apps. And so research and make a decision and say, you know what, I'm going to decide, I don't know if it's okay for them to use this app, and so I'm not going to have it a part of their lives for this season. And that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
You know, and like one of the things I'm so grateful for that my parents did is there was a season in my life where I struggled in this area, and my parents gave me a dumb phone, a phone that didn't do too much, and I had that phone until I was 21 years old. And so when I moved into getting an iPhone, I was able to do it in a safe way with a clean heart. And ultimately,
really
what we want for our students is simply this. We want them to be able to walk in God's design for
Right.
them.
Yes.
God has designed them beautifully, wonderfully, and this is a way that we can do it. Staying
Yes,
safe online.
That's awesome. Staying
Yeah.
safe online. And that's really our heart, is to see our students thrive in today's culture.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are thrown at them on their phones or the computer, through social media, that really doesn't align
Yeah.
with God's way of doing things.
Yeah.
And so it's our desire, our heart, we know it's your desire, to keep our students grounded in God's way of doing things. So these are just simple tools that you can set up easily on your student's phone or on their computer that will just help them keep them accountable and keep them aware of what's out
Yeah,
there,
that's
what's
good.
safe, what's not
That's good.
safe. Who should I invite as my friend, or what apps do I need to stay away from for the time being? Because it can be a trap for our students, and it could lead them down a path of destruction rather than a path
Yeah,
of life.
come on.
And that's
good.
what we want for our students. So
Yeah.
we hope this helped.
Yeah.
We hope that these tips are a helpful tool for you and your family.
Amen.
And we'll put some more information on our YouTube page of how you can put these apps on your phone or your devices.
That's
So,
good. Hey, see
have
you
a
all
great
later.
day.
Bye-bye.